Okay, hi everybody. I am hoping that we're live. Oops, I'm just setting everything up, putting my glasses on. So I'm hoping that you can see me. Just opening up my YouTube now. Just making sure that I can actually... oh, I might have to go through the link. Hang on. So let's go into there. Oh, goodness. Copy it. It's always a bit of a pain trying to get everything set up. I am here. I am here. I'm just trying to find everything. Right, here we go. Right, okay. So I need to take the sound off, but I also need to... oh, here we go, here we go, here we go. Right, I've got the live chat now. Hurrah! So I'm hoping that you can all hear me and that I'm here. And honestly, it's so brilliant. That's great. It's such a pain when you're doing all of this live stuff because you never know whether it's actually going to work or not. And then what I've got to do is I've actually got to get my phone up so that I can see all of the chat and everything. So, oh blimey, anyway, we're here, which is brilliant. Now I've got my little piece here, which is, it's a 7x10, and it's the light fast paper. I was looking at some other paper as well, but I've decided to do mine on the light fast. I have my reference photo here. Now you'll know from the reference photo that it's not a particularly sharp photo. It's a little bit blurry. Actually perfect for what we're going to be doing. It's going to be brilliant. What I want to do is get my erasers ready. Where's my Tombow? I don't know where my Tombow's gone. There it is. So that was a pencil hitting the deck then, but that's okay. I've got my new glasses on. You'll be all really, really pleased to hear so that I can actually see what I'm doing. And we're going to make a start. So I don't want you to be really scared that we're going to be going quite quickly. I think he's in focus. I think he's looking all right. We're going to start with the usual. We ought to have the Bonnie Bingo, won't we, really? But I'm going to start with the dark sepia. I'm hoping that my hat's not going to get in the way. I've got my screen here so I can actually see. I'm going to sort of sit back a little bit, but yeah, we're going to start, and I'm going to start with the little eye first of all. Now, what I'm planning on doing is starting with the head. We're going to kind of plot quite a lot of the dark areas in first, and then work in some of the sort of gingery bits. So I'm going to start with the little eye. We have got like a bit of hair coming over there, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'm going to use really nice light pressure, and I'm going to come in over the top of the eye first, and I'm just going to start to kind of plot in a little bit of that dark area in there. I'm going to use light pressure. Now we're aiming for sort of like a relatively speedy drawing here. It's more of a glorified sketch, I guess. You know, it's not going to be like hugely, oh, it's going to be realistic, but it's not going to be like hugely detailed or anything like that. So I'm just going to sort of pull in. There's a little bit of, I'm sort of sitting quite a way back, so that my silly hat doesn't get in the way. I bought a new one because the dogs chewed my other one. And the reason I have to wear a little peaked cap thing is because my lighting means that I can't actually see the shadows particularly well. So if I don't wear it, I can't really see the shadows very well, which is a bit of a pain. So I have to wear this sort of like little visor thing. What I might do is I might actually just zoom in a little bit. Oops. just pull him over there just so we can get the head in and the eye. Just zoom him in a bit and just focus it up. There we go. And then we're a little bit more focused in there, which is good. Might have to remove the... Yeah, there we go. So that's all right. He's all nicely focused as well. Right, so the eye, honestly, I don't think we need to put a huge amount of colour into here, to be honest. We've got a little bit of hair kind of coming in there, so I'm just going to sort of sketch that little bit in there. It's more an idea of sort of like shape, really, more than anything. We've got some little white areas in there. I'm going to bring the black in and just darken up these areas in here. So I'm going to use a little bit harder pressure just so that we get that darker area into there. Move around there. Once we've got the features done, we'll be away, and we won't have to. It's always a bit scary, you know, when you start a new drawing. It's like, oh blimey, how's this going to work out? But it will be absolutely fine. So we've got some funny little sort of light sources, catch lights and everything going on in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the dark sepia first of all. No, I'm not. I'm going to use the walnut brown. You can use whatever you've got. I've got walnut brown here, and I'm just going to just very gently start to just sketch in sort of some of the colour in the eye now. Now what I'm doing is I'm using really light pressure, and I'm using round pencil strokes just so that it's nice and even. And I just want to, even though we can't really see the colour of the eye, my guess is that it's a little bit brown, so that's why I'm doing the brown. We just want to kind of leave that little bit of white there as the dog's kind of looking up. Then we've got that little bit of I mean, it's tiny, but we've got that little bit of a catch light in there, and then we've got some little roundy bits in there as well. So we can sort of nip them out with the eraser, no problem. Right, okay, so I'm going to use my putty eraser. So it's so nice to see you all. It's been quite a while since we've done a live. Well, I mean, I do a live every week, but for everybody, it's been quite a while really since we've done a live. So it's really nice, and I'm hoping that we're going to be doing much more of these, which should be really good. I love the live stuff. Right, I'm moving back onto the dark sepia. We've got a little bit of that brown in there, and I'm just going to start to be a little bit brave and darken up these areas here. You know, with the dog's eye, we don't need to get all like loads and loads of colour in. We can just make it just really dark. But as long as we've got those little catch lights in, then it's going to look relatively real. So my preference would be to have my nose almost touching the paper, but I can't because you won't be able to see it because my head. I'm sitting right back and I'm thinking, oh my God, can I actually see? Okay. Sound is low. I've got my microphone right up against my head. Hold on a second, let me see if I can. Okay, I've increased the size. I've increased the sound. You might want to just check that you haven't got headphones or anything like that in, because that can change the sound quality. But I've definitely got my sound equipment set up properly. So I don't think it's this end. Okay, so I'm going to come back in with the black, and just sort of darken up in these little bits here. We're not aiming for, you know, loads of colour and all of that type of stuff. We're just wanting, you know, a nice little dark eye. Just bringing that in there. And obviously this is pretty small as well. It's a 7 by 10, so it is quite small. Oh, oh gosh. All right, I've turned the sound up and everybody's deafened now. Sorry. Anyway, right, so I've now got my warm grey 4. I'm just going to bring in a little bit of eyelid down here. We'll come back into the eye and darken it up a little bit, but I'm just going to bring a little bit of eyelid down into here. we're sketching rather than, you know, being particularly careful about where everything's going. So just go for it. Just let yourself go and just, you know, start to be a little bit looser with your pencil. I think it's quite a good idea to do more of a sort of a sketchy piece every now and again, because it just loosens you up a little bit, and it just, you know, it almost as well makes your hands a little bit more dexterous with your pressure and everything like that. So you know, it's I think it's quite good to sort of loosen up a little bit. Now with me using the polychromos is quite good, because what I can do is I can use my putty eraser to help bring out some of the little stray hairs and everything like that. Coming back to the black again, let's just bring a little bit more black into this little eye here. Don't want it too dark, you know, because we want to see that the difference between the top of the eyelid in there. And this will be the same techniques for any paper that you're using. I mean, you might be using drafting film, or you might be using pastel matte, or you might be using the same as me, or you know, whatever it is that you're using, is the same techniques. Nice light pressure to begin with, and then we just give it a bit of welly and put a bit more pressure in there. Just try and make sure that my hand doesn't get in the way. Okay, so that's good. So I've been working really hard this morning. I've been doing I bought a course, and I've been doing a load of coursework, and it's you know me, I've got so much time available to do these sorts of things. So I just thought I'd buy a course. Right, I'm coming back in with the warm grey here again, and just sort of bringing a little bit more under there. And I just want to bring a little bit of that into there as well. Yeah, so I've been doing this coursework all morning, which is quite exciting. Right, so dark sepia. I'm just going to bring a little bit of dark sepia in and up on this little eyebrowy area here. It's just going to kind of just sit nicely in over the top of that warm grey, and we're just going to just sketch that in again quite loosely. If you want it a little bit darker, you can either run your pencil over the area a couple of times, or you can just sort of press that little bit harder in there as well, and just take some little tufts up there as well. Okay, so I feel like I haven't done a live stream for ages, but I mean, I do art club every week, but yeah, it feels really nice actually. I do like doing the live stuff. Okay, I'm just going to bring a little bit round into there as well. Okay, so we've got a little bit of an eye in there, which is quite nice. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring, I think, some of the warm grey in, and just start to plot in some of these darker areas in here. Now, if you're drawing and you want to do your own thing and you don't want to follow what I'm doing, please just do that. It honestly doesn't matter. The whole point about these sessions is that we just have a little bit of fun, really. You know, when we're all together and we can chat and, you know, do whatever you want to do. Now, with the hot press paper, polychromos are great, especially on the light fast paper, because God, I'm watching my hand going on the screen. I'm like, crikey, Bonnie, slow down. Because you're a couple of minutes, well, about 30 seconds behind me, and my hand's going like this, and I'm like, oh my God, slow down. The polychromos come off the paper really easily, you know, if you want to kind of use the putty eraser. So it means that you can kind of get your darker elements in, and then sort of use your putty eraser just to bring in some of those lovely tufts of hair. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm just sort of bringing in, I know it's going to be a little bit more gingery, but I'm just bringing in some of these darker areas, you know, because this little dog has got sort of like some quite darkish areas in here, and then there's the sort of the more sandy colour. But if I bring these sort of grey areas in, and then I want to sort of bring a little bit of highlight or a little bit of something in there, I can use my eraser really easily with the polychromos. Doesn't work so well with some of the more opaque pencils, you know, like Luminance or something like that. Once they're down, they're kind of down. Now we have a little eye here. This sort of angle can be a bit tricky, and what's very normal to do is to try and make this look like an eye. And actually the best thing to do is to leave it looking like a semblance of an eye. So just making it just a little bit darker and then leaving it. If you try and draw an eye in there, just because you think, oh, blimey, you know, we have to have an eye in there because there's two eyes, it's going to look really strange. So don't try and draw the eye. Unless you want to. But then it might look a bit strange. So I'm just bringing a little bit of dark into there. Let's just pull this down. This is sort of like the between the eyes there. So we've got sort of like a nice little bit of depth in there as well, which we can bring a bit more in afterwards. And then let's just bring a little bit of depth into here as well. Don't want to put too much grey in where all of these gingery bits are going. And then I'm going to come into the ear and I'm going to bring a little bit of colour into that ear there as well. Again, we can use our putty eraser and everything in there just to bring some of those nice soft hairs in. Got these little bits of hairs that are sort of whisking off. When you're doing hairs that are sort of floating off the off a head or off the ears or something like that, just be really, really mindful of your pressure. So you want to be starting where the hair sort of starts around about here, and then you've got a little bit stronger pressure as you start at the bottom, and then you just lift your pencil up. So you don't want to be taking the pencil all the way up and stopping. You want to be doing sort of like a nice flicking motion. And then if you think, oh, hang on, I need to bring that down a little bit. If it gets a little bit too sort of strong at the top, you can just bring your putty eraser in, and you can just lighten it up a little bit. Just coming down through there. That's it. That's quite good that I've got my my phone in front of me so I can actually see where the camera and everything is situated. So I'm just using really nice soft pressure, just bringing a little bit of hair into there. Not worrying too much about anything. Always make sure that you your pencil strokes are going in the direction of the fur. We've got quite a lot of sort of fluffy bits going on in here, so I'm just going to kind of come in and just sketch around those a little bit. And then what I can do is I can bring my putty eraser in and I can just gently lift out. Now, like I say, with polychromas, it works really, really well. They just lift brilliantly. Pablos as well probably are okay, but the more opaque ones, so if you're using light fast or luminance, then they're not going to lift out as well. So you've just got to kind of remember that. I mean, my eraser is something that I use all of the time. It's a really, really key part of my toolkit. I'm just going to come into here as well. I'm going to bring some gingery bits in there. Okay, so we've got a nice little bit of the ear there, and then I'm going to move over onto this ear here as well. All I want to do at the moment is just bring a little bit of form to the little dog, you know, and sometimes working over an entire area, it can speed things up a little bit. It's not my preferred way of working when I'm creating sort of like the really realistic portraits. I like to work in sections, but something like this, it can just sort of bring a portrait on a little bit quicker. And because we're not going to be doing masses of layers, it's more of a sort of a nice sketch really than anything else. You know, it's quite good to kind of get those darker areas in and get a little bit of form in there. So it's looking, let's just move that over there a bit. So it's looking relatively real, relatively quickly. And that's something that I always try to do with my work. You know, we all go through those ugly stages, but I want my ugly stages not to last for very long. So I'm always trying to find ways of, you know, making them disappear quicker, basically. So again, I'm just going to kind of come over here. If you're a little bit looser with your pencil, you know, just go for it. A little bit more confidence, and then you'll start to get these really nice sort of pencil strokes in there that look like fur quite early on. You know, if we get a little bit too perfect, I guess, you know, things can start to look a little bit sort of I don't know, just a bit sort of stuffy and a bit contrived and a bit sort of sharp. Whereas if we go a little bit looser, we start to get some of that nice you know, texture and everything like that in, and a little bit of movement in the fur, and that's always a good thing. So just coming through there. Now my outline is actually created using a graphite pencil, which I tend to do quite a lot of on the light fast paper. It will rub out if I need it to, but at the minute it actually is fine. It's working pretty well. Right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come and just work on the little nose area a little bit. I think, what am I going to do? I think we'll just plot in a little bit of the dark in the nose. I'm going to go with the black. So we've got this little nostril area here. This is really tiny, I have to say. Let's just pull that nostril in there. Again, you know, we don't have to go crazy getting everything spot on, but what we do want to make sure is that the nose is the correct angle. You know, and again, you can check your angles by sort of running a pencil down, you know, from the eyes onto the nose, and everything's the same angle, so you can kind of double check that. Oh, Vanessa, mine's really tiny too. I was thinking, do I do it tiny? Do I do it big? What do I do? I actually had one that was even smaller. I was like, I don't think I can do it that small. But that's okay. We can, you know, we don't have to have everything big, and it means that we can get it done quicker. Just whack it in. Just put a bit of black in where the nose is, and you'll be fine. So we've got this cute little mouth here as well that we need to kind of make sure that we get. And then what I can do is I can just, with the black, I can just very gently bring a little bit of shading in, so we get some form on the nose there. And it's the shading that is going to make your nose look real, and it's the shading that's going to make it look like it's in the right place. It's very easy to get shading just that little bit wrong, and then it knocks everything else out. And then the problem is that you then think the nose is in the wrong place, so you rub the nose out and you put it back in again, and then it happens all over again. So always take really good care in your shading. You know, look at where the darker areas are, look at where the lighter areas are, look at where the light's coming from. So the light's kind of coming from this direction. So we've got some light on the top of the head here. The light's kind of shining, and we've got a little bit of lighter area on the nose there. So that's what we need to capture when we're, you know, even something as small as this, that's what we need to capture. We need to capture that little bit of light, because that's going to make a big difference. You know, if you start to put light underneath here, what then happens is it kind of skews the nose, and it will look like it's going in a different direction. I mean, if we were drawing this as a portrait and it was bigger, you know, we might spend, I don't know, an hour on the nose, something like that. But with something like this, where it's more of a quick sketch, really, well, glorified sketch, I guess. You know, we don't have to spend ages and ages on it to make it look like it's a little nose. So I'm just going to bring a little bit, and I'm just using the black in here as well. I can change my pressure on the black to give me darker blacks. I can lift my pressure up to give me, you know, more of a grey colour. Okay. Right, so that's all okay. I have to just text my son quickly and ask him to turn his telly down. Where is he? Okay. Right, okay, so we've got his little nose there, and then we're just going to come down. Also, I don't have anything underneath my hand, and that's just purely because it'll just get in the way. So I would always recommend you have something under your hand, just because you know, you're going to leave sort of oils and stuff like that on your paper. So I'm just going to come down here, just bring a little bit of that dark into here quite quickly. Just going to move him up again a little bit. There we go. And then we can just bring a little bit of those darker areas in. We can go back in and darken these back up again, but at the minute it's got a little, so this is quite dark in here, and then you've got that little bit of lip there that's sort of a little bit shiny, and then it's dark again. And then we're dark all the way down here. Okay, so again I'm just using the black here. You know, nothing wrong with using black at all. We can darken it up by putting something in there a little bit later, but at the minute this is fine. And then just under that little chin there, and in there, so that's all cool. And then I'm going to swap back to the dark sepia, and I'm just going to start to bring in a little bit of these sort of fluffy areas around the nose here. So we've just got to be a little bit careful here, because it's very easy to sort of get, especially with sharp pencils, it's very easy to get things that look a little bit sort of too sharp and not soft enough. So I'm just sort of using quite soft pressure. I think I need to move him over here a bit. I might. Is the little dog in the corner useful? In the corner of the screen useful? If it is, I'll leave it in. If it's not, I'll take it out, because it's a bit. It's in the way a little bit. I thought it would be useful to put it in, but I'm not sure whether it is actually. So if you let me know, and then I can take it out. So I'm just going to bring a little bit of that in there as well. And just sketch a little bit in there. Then we can just darken those up a little bit as well. But we want to keep that nice softness in there. So you can see we've got a little bit of tone in there where these hairs are coming through. Please leave the photo. Okay, perfect. I will leave the photo. That's fine. Right, okay, so we've got that little bit coming up there, and then let's, now there's a little bit of readiness in here. It's in the way. Okay, well, I'm going to leave it because some of you find it useful, but what I'm going to do is just sort of just sneak him back there, and I think I'm just going to reduce the size of him a little bit again. Just focus him up. There we go. Right, so I'm going to bring a little bit more of the warm grey 4 just into here, and again we're just going to go nice and steady. Just sketch that in into there. Again, we can go a little bit darker, but I'm just going to come in with that warm grey 4 and just get some of that nice sort of textury fur. And it's the movement that we need with this little dog. You know, we want to be able to see that lovely sort of movement in his fur. So it is definitely going a little bit quicker and just sketching it in. And this is really how I would, you know, if I was doing this piece as a commission, these initial layers I always do really quite, you know, sketchy. I think it gives the fur just a little bit more realism, really, because it gives it that movement and it makes it look like it's alive. You know. Right, and then let's just come down and bring a little bit of grey down into the nosy area here. Again, being really careful about the direction that you're drawing in. So we don't want too much of a scribble and you know, pencil lines going in all sorts of directions, because we want to be able to kind of see that you know, the fur and everything like that. Okay, so when it comes round the nose, it sort of moves, changes direction of the growth, so we need to capture that. Going round and then down. And again, we're going to come back in and sort of darken this up a little bit, but what we can also do is bring in some of those nice highlights in there as well. And in this first layer, Again, what's really, really nice with a little dog like this is there's quite a lot of texture in the fur, and in this initial sort of sketchy layer we can start to bring all of that texture in. And again, I'd really, really recommend that you do this in your really detailed pieces, because it gives a great start to a piece, getting all of this lovely texture in, you know, and then you can work around it. And again, it looks quite real right from the start, you know, and that's what we want to be doing. We're wanting to be feeling like really energized and inspired when we look at our drawing board and we see like a piece on there and we're thinking, oh, you know, it's looking great. You know, and I would encourage you all as well, you know, sometimes we don't always feel something's going that well, but always trying to find, you know, something that is going to spur you on and something positive about a piece. You know, I know that some pieces don't really do it for us, but you know, I think it's really important to right, so I'm going back in with the dark sepia, and I'm just want to kind of just bring this little nose here, just get that a little bit more in there, and then I want to just bring in a darker area just around the muzzle here. Coming around there, can bring a little bit of detail in there as well. Now I'm looking at this and I want to add some purple in here. I didn't put any sort of lilac-y colours in on the list, but for me I want to bring a little bit of sepia 50% in there, which I might do a little bit later on, but don't have to. And then in this area here I want to put some sort of like probably a bit of walnut brown and burnt sienna. When I'm looking at this little nose here, I'm seeing quite a lot of warmth in there, so I want to bring some of that in as well once I've got a few more of these little areas on the face done. So I'm now kind of working up and under, so I just want to work up and under in here just to get these little shadowy elements under there and make it look like it's layered. You know, even when we're doing sort of like a speedy drawing and we're sketching more than anything else, I think it's really, really key, you know, to make sure that you've still got those elements of realism in there, so making sure that everything looks a little bit layered. Jackie, yes, it's all being recorded, and it will be a YouTube link like one of the normal videos, so don't worry. Okay, so I'm just going to come down here again. Just be careful that you don't get carried away and just start going la 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 la, and off I go and I'm doing the fur, and then you find that everything's going, all of the fur's going in the same direction. You know, really, really make sure that you're concentrating. I've started doing quite a bit of meditation, but not sort of too much but basically meditation when I'm in the bath and I do sort of like the breathe, you know, where you concentrate on your breathing and everything like that, and it's really, really helped me with my drawing, actually, because it means that, you know, when you're drawing away and you kind of just get a little bit lost in yourself and your mind kind of drifts and then off you go, and what I was finding was that you know, I would make these mistakes where I'd be like, oh blimey, I haven't been concentrating, and I've, you know, and Debbie, she loves up and under. I know, I love it. Donna, the list of colours, I mean, it's just my usual colours, to be honest. It's just brown and black, basically. They were in the initial Patreon post. But yes, I found that meditation has really, really helped me, because it sort of brings me back into the room a little bit more. which doesn't bode well, does it? But you know, that I'm kind of get lost. I do get completely lost when I'm doing stuff. I just disappear somewhere. I don't know where. But it helps me kind of come back again and sort of concentrate on what I'm doing. So this little chin here, we need these nice little soft tufts coming through. Again, it's gonna give character to his little cheeky face, and it's gonna give a little bit more, you know, realism to a more sketchy piece, I guess. So we're just going to get those in there, and then again we're going to have this up and under in there. I apologise if there's any external noise. My son's just arrived back and the dogs might start barking. Although I've only got good boy Vinny in here, so he's a good boy. Although he's destroyed, I can't tell you how many toilet rolls he's destroyed. We ended up buying some toilet rolls from Marks and Spencer's because that's where we were, and I don't know whether anybody's bought toilet rolls from Marks and Spencer's, but some of them have little stars all over them, which was really quite nice. I was thinking, oh gosh, I'm going to have something relatively posh in my house. Anyway, Vinny's eaten them all. He's not eaten them, he's just ripped them to shreds and plastered them everywhere, so we're having to keep our toilet rolls in under lock and key, so he can't get them. Carlo, he really is, isn't he? It's he's a cute little dog, and I think he's a really nice subject for this sort of a drawing as well. You know, that's sort of a little bit sketchy and a little bit a little bit woolly. Right, okay, so we've got some nice darks in there. So I think do you know, I feel like just drawing them all in dark sepia, to be honest. But I think we're going to have to get a few browns in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out the my most well, it's my least favourite colour, but actually it's such a great colour. It's the brown ochre. So I know, Carol, honestly, he's so naughty. So I'm going to use the brown ochre, and I'm just going to start to bring in some of these sort of more browny, yellowy browny colours. So we've got a little bit coming into the ear here. We've got some kind of coming in through here. So again, really nice light pressure. We want to kind of capture that nice sort of lovely, oh, I need to put my iPad on charge. Yeah, we need to capture this nice texture that's coming through. And what we've also got to kind of get in there as well is these tonal changes, so we can actually see the structure of the face. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this brown ochre in and around there. Coming through. And you can see I'm not really doing anything to get rid of these graphite lines. They're just going to sort of sit there really. And then I'm going to bring a little bit, I'm going to bring too much into there because I think I'm going to use, there. Maybe I will bring a little bit into there. It's more beigey really than anything, but I'll bring a little bit into there, very, very lightly. It's coming round like that. Just making sure that all of your hair is going in the right direction. So I'm using really light pressure, and I'm kind of using my pencil on its side and holding it at its end. So I've got a little bit of control, but it's still all quite nice and loose. And then I'm going to come under his little eye down here. And just sort of, now under the eye the hair is slightly shorter, and then we come into this sort of more longer hair on his cheek. So actually doing sort of like little sketchy motions rather than doing hairs is going to give that nice feeling of texture underneath the eye where it's just that little bit shorter. And then obviously we come down into sort of like the cheek area here and kind of pull that hair around a little bit. Oh, hi Michelle, nice to see you. It's oh, we've got rain here, and it's starting to rain now. We've had some quite nice days actually, but we had the most colossal thunderstorm the other night. Honestly, it was like something out of a film. It was like this, and it was right overhead. So I've always counted whenever I see lightning. I've always like counted to see how far away the thunder is. I don't know whether anybody else does that, but I always count. And I'm sitting there going 1 elephant, 2 elephant. I didn't even get to elephant on the first one, and it was just the thunder came, and I was like, oh my god! And it was about, I think it was just after midnight, and it was the loudest thunderstorm I have heard in years. But there was a lot of lightning, a lot of thunder, and it was literally right overhead. And the dogs didn't budge. just slept through it. Yeah, we've had some pretty funny weather recently. Have you had thunder as well, Vanessa? It's we don't get many. Oh, I haven't had a thunderstorm in ages. I quite like a good thunderstorm. So I'm just going to come under here as well. Again, just kind of looking at the shape of the face and just making sure that the hairs are sort of following the structure of the face in there. I'm going to bring a little bit of this brown ochre into there. And I'm going to bring a little bit into there as well. We don't need to worry about the hairs being, you know, the perfect match. We're looking for character. Oh, Deborah, oh, that's good. You've got me on full screen. Well, it's a good job you've only got the dog showing, because I'm not sure you like me on full screen. Oh dear. Although I'm starting to sort myself out and be a little bit better. You know, take a bit more. What's the word? Not be as scruffy. You probably all like me being scruffy, but anyway, I'm trying to make more of an effort. So I'm just going to darken that little bit in there, just on top actually of that bit of graphite. I don't think it matters that that's there. Yeah, no, they didn't budge. They didn't budge at all. They weren't bothered at all, not in the slightest. Right, I'm going to bring a little bit of the walnut brown in now. It's walnut brown. I've got them all in pencil extenders. I'm going to bring a little bit of the walnut brown into here, just to add a little bit more depth in between the eyes there. Just a little bit into there as well. And yeah, I'm so glad I've got my new glasses. It's taken me about 3 months to get them sorted. And when they first took the prescription and they gave me my glass and I picked them up, I couldn't actually see through them. It looked like I was looking out of the bottom of a fishbowl. Everything had a curve to it, and it was all just like, oh my word, I can't possibly use these. So it's taken them 3 months to be able to get my prescription right. So they've taken my prescription back down, so it's not quite as strong. And I've now got glasses that actually work, which is great. Because I was starting to my eyes were starting to strain a little bit using my other ones because the prescription wasn't quite strong enough. Oh, thank you, Karen. That's really kind. I had to go to my sister's house. Oh God, honestly, you can't move in my house for builders and boxes. So I had to go and sit in my sister's kitchen while they all went and sat in a different room so that I could take this video. And it was just crazy, absolutely crazy, because I don't think there was anywhere in my house that I could have taken the video where it would have had a half decent backdrop. So that was quite fun. And then I got there and I put lipstick on, and it was a new lipstick, and I started to take the video, and I was like, you'll all be watching it back now, and I was like, what's happened? And I don't know whether I put lipstick and I put it over the top of my lip, but it brought me out in a rash on top of my lip, and I looked like I had a moustache. So hopefully you didn't notice that bit. Bonnie's moustache on her video. Oh dear. Oh, and I don't know whether, well, you probably don't know, but you can, I must do it next time I do a Zoom. You can add eyebrows and moustaches to your face on Zoom. I don't know whether anybody knew that. Just a little bit of random information there for you. I might have to try it next time. But you can add all of these different things to your face, which is quite funny. Ah, scruffy, relaxed. Ah. So right, okay, so I'm going to come into the top of the head here and just add a little bit more of that walnut brown. So what you know, it's looking a little bit sketchy, it's looking a little bit faded, but actually I don't mind that. I quite like a sketch, you know, sometimes. We need to crack on because we need to get the body done as well. So I don't know what time it is. Oh, we've been 3/4 of an hour, so that's not so bad. Once we get into the body, we'll be flying. So I just want to bring a little bit more of that dark into there, and a little bit of sort of texture up on the top of the eyelid here, or around the eye there. Still, we haven't used any other pencils, or I haven't used any other pencils other than the polychromos, and that's because I do want to bring a little bit of erasing in. So I'm just going to darken that area there as well. Again, a little bit sketchy. Let's bring a little bit into there. And down and around. And we can darken his face up a little bit as well. So I'm going to bring the... I mean, to be fair, you'd probably just be able to do this with walnut brown and dark sepia and brown ochre. You know, you could do it with a really limited palette of pencils. Okay, so I'm going to just come into here and just darken at this area here a little bit. It's coming through there, just so we've got this sort of layering effect of the hair. It's coming around there and through there. If anyone is going to do this dog over class in detail, can you post it on? I want. Oh, yes, you can do it in detail, no problem. Yeah, I'd love to see you. I'd love to see more detailed ones. It is a really sweet little dog. It's the photo's lovely, but it isn't the highest quality sort of details. It is a little bit blurry in places, but actually I do quite like working with less detailed photos because it means that I don't have to put all of the information in. Right, I'm going to come back in again with the brown ochre, and we're just going to bring a little bit more into there. You can see I'm using very, very light pressure pencil, sort of a little bit further up the barrel there, just so I can get that nice gentle pressure into there. And then I'm just going to bring my putty eraser in. I'm just going to bring some sort of like little highlighty bits, and you can see how nicely kind of brings those little bits of highlights in there. Now, if you were doing this sort of really detailed, you'd probably want to get a few layers in here, you know, so that you get that nice density of colour. But because I'm just sort of mostly doing more of a sketch. Oh, you love my accent, Susan? Oh dear, I used to speak like the Queen. When I was little, we used to do, I don't know whether you've ever heard of elocution, but I used to have elocution lessons when I was little, and I used to have to stand up and do like these poems on stage and all of that type of stuff. And oh my god, I hated it. I think there was one of them where I had to go, and it must have been only about 7 or 8, I think, and it was my time to go up on the stage and do whatever it was. It was like a festival or something, and I basically started doing my poem as I was walking up towards the stage, so by the time I got onto the stage, I'd finished it. And then I could come back again. I hated it, but I did used to speak like the Queen, but I don't anymore. Right, so let's get a little bit more colour into there. I'm going to bring a bit more of, is the Pablo brown ochre, burnt ochre okay as well? Yes, you can use anything you like. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, I'm not making him look, you know, exactly the same as the photo. What I'm looking for is just that little bit of cheekiness and that, you know. So I've got burnt sienna now, and I'm just going to bring a little bit of the burnt sienna into here, just into that little area there. I'm going to bring a little bit underneath his eye in here, just darken up this area here. Again, it's sort of quite sketchy, and then I just want to bring in a little bit of that. I think the brown ochre is probably the better colour, but I just wanted to just darken it up a little bit. Oh, Shirley, I was born in Ripon, which is where I live now, but my dad is Swiss. And my mum is from Ilkley, but I suppose you'd class us as being quite posh, I guess. Yeah, so I've lived in Yorkshire all my life. But like I say, I took elocution lessons, so the Yorkshire twang was forcibly removed. But it's funny, my ex-husband, he had a really, really, really broad accent, like properly broad. You know, if you listen to Our Yorkshire Farm or you know, something like that, that's the broadness of his accent, really, really broad. And he was born just about 5 miles from where I was born. My children don't really have accents. You know, they're a little bit like me, really. And my family don't really have accents either. But my dad, who's been here, gosh, how long's he been here? Must be coming up to 60 years. He's still got a little bit of an accent, especially if he's reading out loud. Yeah. Born in Leeds. Oh, right, okay. Yes, Downton Abbey is near. Yes, when Downton Abbey, they talked about coming to Ripon quite a lot, which was most exciting. Also with who was it? Oh, it's Victoria. But a lot of that was recorded in Ripon as well. So it's all very exciting. Right, I'm just going to come up here again with the brown ochre. And then I'm just going to do a little bit more with the ears. I'm going to bring a little bit of pink in there. So I've got my granite rose, and I'm just going to bring a little bit of that into here. Just sort of sketching it in, really. A little bit into there. Don't really need to bring any into that bit there. And then I'm going to bring the warm grey 4 in again. And we're just going to sort of add a little bit more of these little sort of tufty bits in and around the ear there. Oh, that's my tummy growling, I apologise. So we don't have a kitchen at all. We do have, it is watertight now, which is good. We had a bit of a swimming pool at one point, but it's all watertight now. So I don't have a washing machine. So I've been going to the local laundrette and taking all of that washing and then bringing it home, and the children going, oh, Mum, it smells so nice, and oh, it's so soft. So I think I'll just stop doing washing when I can. Just take it all to the laundrette. And we have set up in the living area, in the living room, I've got the microwave is on the floor with an air fryer on the top, with the kettle on the top of that, and the toaster sort of precariously sitting on the edge. And that's where we do all of our cooking. But suffice to say, I've been having a lot of fruit and salad. So it's all a complete disruption. I was born in Bramham. Oh, I was just up the A1. Oh yes, so James Herriot, Barb, is in Thirsk, and that is about 10 minutes from me. Yeah. So hi Bonnie from hi Jennifer. I am using the Derwent Lightfast paper for mine. I quite like it for this sort of sketchy thing. Right, so I'm just going to come into here, just darken up in this little ear in here, and then we can get a little bit more of this, these nice sort of little floaty hairs. I'm just going to pull that up there. I just need to darken in there a little bit. I'm going to take the dark sepia. Hi Catherine, how are you? Dark sepia in here, just darken up in there a little bit. Yeah, so the poor dogs haven't known what's going on. Vinny and the cat keep on trying to get into the kitchen. I lost Vinny the other night. I had no idea where he was, and he was in the kitchen. He'd gone in. I've got this big plastic door with a zip. Well, I don't know how he'd done it, but he got in, and he was just sort of like lounging around in this. It's like a pit of despair actually in the kitchen at the moment. And anyway, so he was in there, and then we couldn't find the cat, and then she was in there. I was like, oh my goodness. So naughty dogs. But the girls are in with my son, and Vinny's in here flaked out, so that's all okay. But the poor things, they can't even go in the garden. You know, I haven't even got a garden at the minute. It's just full of rubble and stuff, so I can't put them in the garden to have a run around. So I'm taking them for about 10 walks a day, just to take them, poor things. But I've got the dog park booked for tomorrow so Vinny can go and have a nice run around, which is good. Okay, so I'm just coming in here and just bringing in a little bit of the softness around the ear in there. Might come back in and darken some of that up actually, but I quite like the little hairs around here. I might just go in very gently with I've got the warm grey 2 here, and just sort of very gently sketch a few of these little random hairs into there. Okay. Oh, Susan, I'm having my kitchen extended. So I've been wanting to do it for a long time, and we'd booked the builder last year, and then obviously everything happened with the COVID and everything like that. So you know, it started sort of March time, yeah, and that's basically it. So I've had the exterior wall knocked down, so I've had to have like a big RSJ put in. I'm using the black now, and then the wall built up on the outside, then the roof put on, the extension, and then the exterior wall taken down. So now that's all done. I've had it all rewired, and we're now sort of, he's got to the point now where he's concreted the floor, because there was an area that was lower, so it's all the same height now. Yeah, I'm hoping he's going to start plastering, and that it's not going to be much longer. So and it will mean that I have a really nice kitchen, and you know, which is I've been wanting for a long time. So we've been here for 16 years nearly. So you know, it's going to be amazing, but my goodness, the disruption. And then as soon as the kitchen's finished, my studio is being done, and at the moment the studio is just, I'm surrounded by, I've got the Christmas stockings up next to me. I can see Tigger looking at me with a Christmas hat on, and it's just my studio is full of the kitchen, basically all of the boxes and everything that have come from everything that was in the kitchen. So it's a real struggle at the minute, but we're getting through. You know, and things like this really help me. You know, I don't really get stressed about stuff, but you know, when your routine and everything like that's disrupted, and you can't even get a cup of tea, you know, without having to sort of juggle a load of stuff, it can be quite stressful. I used to laugh at the goodest sketch on Yorkshire, Ecky Thump. Yes, Ecky Thump. Yeah. We've got some great Yorkshire sketches. We watched, my daughter and I watched Calendar Girls last week, which was she'd not seen it before, so we watched that, and it's such a lovely film. It really is. Right, I'm going to bring the putty eraser in again in here, just to bring in a little bit of extra light bits, and then I think we're going to start on the body. Let's bring a couple more into there. Yeah, so I've I think the builder was a bit annoyed with me, because he wanted to put the sink on the far wall, because that's where the waste was, you know, and I was like, I really don't want the sink on the far wall. So he's had to bring this massive jackhammer in, and literally the house was shaking. So that was Tuesday morning, so that was quite exciting. Oh no, Thursday morning, that was quite exciting. So he's had to sort of like carve like a big groove out where all the waste pipes are going to go. Karen, yes, and they can't get stuff for love nor money, you know. So he's bought like a load of concrete and just left it in my house. He said, I've bought as much as I can get my hands on because they can't get anything. It's utter madness. Right, I'm just going to darken that a little bit, and then actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back into the little nose area here and just darken all of this up a touch. So I'm just going to bring the black in here, and just darken all of that up a little bit. Darken in there. Oh, I've just remembered. I'm having fish and chips for tea. Oh, that's really cheered me up. I'm a woman of very simple likes, but oh, I'd forgotten that. Oh, that is exciting. Oh, and I've had my I want to share some of the pages with you actually, if my publisher says I can. But I've had the first full draft of the book back. Oh, I can't tell you how exciting it is. Honestly, to see all of your work in print, it's just like, blimey, this is amazing. I mean, it's not designed how I would, if I was doing it myself, I wouldn't have designed it like that. But it's the publisher, and it's going with another couple of books that they've already done. But it looks amazing, absolutely amazing. I'm so excited with it. I had to take my son to football last night, and I'm sitting and waiting for an hour for him to finish. So I took my iPad with the book on, so I could start to edit it, you know, check it for typos and everything. It's looking amazing. So I'm really excited about that. And then I've been doing loads of work on the Academy, which is it's going to be, I hope it's going to, well, I know it's going to be amazing. I know it's going to be amazing because it will mean that we don't have a nightmare with trying to find stuff, and everything's going to be more structured. If people want more structure, there's going to be more live things, and basically it's going to help people progress, you know, which is going to be fab. So I'm very excited about that. I was wondering how many takeaways rather than salad you're having to suffer. Yes, Deborah, when I was saying I'm eating fruit and salad, I lied. No, I am eating, but yes, we're having to suffer an awful lot of takeaways. Sounds like a lot of upheaval. Oh, it's awful. The dust. Honestly, if you were sitting with me in my studio now, you'd be like, Bonnie, get your duster out. It's horrible. It's everywhere. It just gets everywhere. And then you dust, and then, you know, it just comes back again. So I just don't bother. Can you share the deer sketch from January live draw line? I couldn't find it. Fatma, yes, I will. Would you send me a message? Because otherwise I will completely forget, and then I will send you a link to it. Again, this is why I'm wanting to sort of build a membership on a platform where it's much easier to navigate. Patreon's been fantastic, and it is fantastic, and Patreon is going to continue being fantastic, and I'm not going to stop doing Patreon, but I want to be able to give much more. And what I really want to do is the people who really want to develop their work and kind of, be able to sort of plot progress and stuff like that. That's what I want to do within the Academy. Just make it much more of a somewhere where you can actually see your progression, I guess. So I'm just going to come back into there. Right, I'm faffing around now. So again, I'm just going to use that warm grey 4 very quickly into here, and then we're going to move on to the body. So I'm just going to bring a little bit more into there. I won't put any of that violet in there, even though I'm itching to put some in, but I won't. And a little bit of bit more black into there as well, I think. But I think he's looking quite cute, actually. I think he's looking all right so far. Oh, thanks, Fatma. That's really kind of you. Thank you. I'm so glad you joined us. Right, just darken that little bit up in there. Coming through into there. Right, and then let's start to look at the body. So I'm just going to shimmy this up a little bit. Okay, and we're going to start on the we'll start on the tail, I think. We start on the tail? No, we won't start on the tail. Let's do his little chest here. So what I might do is just zoom out again. Okay, so we're going to start on his little chest area here. I'm just going to take out some of these crazy lines. How to best sharpen pencils. So, Joe, lots of people have their different favourite sharpeners. I really like the Swordfish sharpeners. I think they are a really super brand of pencil sharpener. So there's the crank sharpener, and then I have one that's called the Swordfish Multipoint, and that's an electric sharpener, and that's my favourite one. And they will fit, I can't really show you because it's all plugged in, but they have lots of different hole openings and they fit all of the pencils. So they're awesome. Right, so luminance, seeing as you were talking about luminance, brown ochre 10%, and we're just going to go in under here. I'm just going to actually just rub out that little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to use my brown ochre 10%. Now, really nice light pressure, because this is, even though it's a light coloured pencil, it's going to give you quite a lot of pigment. Okay, and then I'm just going to come down into here as well. Again, we're going to need to go quite nice and speedy underneath this hair. You know, if you're sitting here thinking, oh my goodness, we're going into neck hair and the chin and it's all swirly and we've got all sorts of stuff, don't even think about it. Just look at what you're drawing and then just transfer that onto the paper. You know, just be nice and speedy. So we've got a little bit of hair coming this way, so we've got a bit of a curve on the pencil there, and then this bit here we've got a little bit of pencil going this way. We've got a bit of a swirly bit. Bring some of that nice texture through. You know, you don't have to have everything beautiful and smooth. Again, your hair just changes a little bit direction there. Let me take out that as well. It is really worth it. It is really worth it, Shirley, isn't it? It's a really super pencil sharpener. I mean, I don't sharpen my pencils very much. I guess in you know, I don't sharpen them as much as the coloured pencil artists, I don't think. But they save me a huge amount of time. It's just brilliant. You just shove your pencil in and then it's sharp. It's great. Right, so just coming down here again, I'm just getting a little bit of hair in there. So we've got, this is a little bit paler down here. Just sketch a little bit more in there. It's a bit darker under here. We'll bring a little bit of depth into there in a second. And then let's just bring, it's coming down here. Don't want to end up coming off the screen. Just down there. I have trouble finding Swordfish pencil sharpener in the United States. Kim, the other one is the Derwent ones are supposed to be quite good as well. I've only really had the Swordfish. That's the only make that I've had. I've had the Faber-Castell, you know, just a normal little pencil sharpener, and it didn't last very long, to be honest. Okay, just coming round through there. This is actually a little bit pinky, but I'm going to stick with the brown ochre there. Okay, just coming around there. We've got this bit here which is all sort of quite grey, and well, it's not grey. You'll be seeing it as white, but actually there's not a huge amount of white in there. So I'm just going to come down to there. I don't want to go any further than that, and then just bring some of that up there as well. So it's all about just looking at your photograph and then just not worrying about details or anything like that, just bringing your pencil in the same direction as the fur's growing. And then I'm just going to chop the end off my Tombow, so I've got a nice clean end. So the pencil under the chin is the brown ochre 10%. And I'm just going to come into here and just get rid of some of these graphite lines. So you don't need those. There as well. And actually we can use that little Tombow. Oh, I was going to swipe it with my slice tool, and that wouldn't have been very good. I can use my little Tombow just to bring a little bit of fur texture in there as well. You're better off using a harder eraser when you've been using the luminance. It's not going to work with the putty eraser. So I'm just going to come in a little bit and just bring in a few little highlighty bits in there. You can spend a fortune. You can spend a fortune. You can spend a fortune on all the art supplies, really, can't you? I mean, it's bonkers, isn't it? Right, so let's now go with the warm grey 4, and we're going to do the white bit in here, which lift that up a little bit. So this is where you've got to be a little bit brave to bring in sort of such a dark tone when we're looking at white fur. And what I want to do is I just want to sort of sketch out, oh, I sneeze, sketch out some of these little curls. Again, you know, just sort of sketch them in. Don't worry too much about details or anything like that. Just sort of sketch in very, very, very lightly. You want the texture and you want the fur direction. And because we're using a polychromos, it means that we can use the kneadable eraser as well, the putty eraser, you know, and we can kind of help get some of that texture in there as well. How long does the swordfish last for you, Bonnie? Well, the one that I've had, the one that I'm using now, I must have been using for 6 months. I haven't changed the blade or anything like that, and I use it every day. So, you know, and I'm very naughty as well. I don't tend to empty it very often, which can be a problem because that can kind of make things a bit sticky. But no, it's been really good. Penny, you've spent a fortune. I know, it's madness, isn't it? I look at my pencils. I mean, the pencils I've got on my tray here. I mean, there must be about £200 worth of pencils just stuck in my tray here. You know, there's probably about £200 of pencils sat on the floor somewhere as well. Right, so I'm just going to bring a little bit of this grey in down here. Don't worry too much if you're thinking, oh, but hang on a second, you know, grey. This is just to give it a little bit of extra sort of tone in here. And the warm grey is going to sit nicely with that brown ochre and just give it that little bit of extra something. Oh, Vinny, what are you doing? So let's come through there. And then I'm just going to darken up under the little chinny area here as well. Is yours the swordfish fit? It's the multi-point, Deborah. It's the swordfish multi-point, mine. I think I've got a box somewhere. I'll see if I can dig it out. But it is quite expensive, I have to say. It is quite expensive for a pencil sharpener. But it is really, really good. You sort of put your pencil in and kind of push it a little bit and hold it, and it takes sort of like around 4 seconds, and then you've got a perfectly sharp pencil. It's good. It's really good. Oh, Carla, it really is, isn't it? Oh God, don't get me started on the Holbeins. I know, and I've yeah. So my obviously my problem at the moment is trying to find time during the week where it's really quiet, that I can actually create a video. And I've got part of the video done, and I just need to finish it. But the Holbeins are lovely. I have to say, they are really nice. I think what I really like about them is how they feel. You know, they're very, very smooth. They look very similar to polychromos. I've got one here actually. This purple one. But they are very similar to polychromos. But they have sort of like a longer goldy bit. But they're smoother. They feel smoother, and they're really nicely weighted actually in your hand. They just feel really nice. They are lovely pencils. So yes, I will get around to creating that and doing a bit of a demo with them as well. There's some of them that are the lighter coloured ones are really fab actually for blending and smoothing and that type of thing. Right, I'm going to bring the brown ochre in. What is the pencil holder called? I have many little short stumps. Oh, so I've got these ones. I've got two here actually. So I've got two here. These two are from Amazon. One's a little bit fatter than the other one actually. I just bought like a set of 6, and these fit the slimmer pencils in, but they don't tend to fit the luminance in very well. And I find that the luminance, the Derwent ones are much better for the luminance. So I've got a Derwent one here actually. I think this is a Derwent one, and it's a little bit fatter. And then the luminance will fit in there. I might be lying. Let me just have a look, see if I can get... Yeah, no, this isn't one, because you can see here the luminance just doesn't go in. So you need to get the fatter ones, and they're you get those from Derwent. They're pretty good. Right, I'm coming in now with the brown ochre, the Polychromos brown ochre, and I'm just going to darken up in here. Just bring a little twisty bits in there. Just darken that bit up in there a bit. I think we did the deer on drafting film, I think. We did the little robin on drafting film as well. I did it at Christmas time. So this was particularly brave of me to do it on the hot press paper, but it's working out quite nicely actually. Alright, so I'm just going to bring a little bit down here on the edge here. Again, just pull some of that hair through. And down. And this is the brown ochre, the Polychromos brown ochre is pretty good actually for sort of creating those darker. And then we've got these little lighter areas in there as well. So just coming down here. And again, we've got that up and under in here as well. Just creating those little areas where it, you know, we can actually see that it's layers of fur in there. A few fell into Jackson's basket. Susan, that's so funny. Oh, are you, Carolyn? You're using the Holbeins? Okay, how are you getting on? Are you using them at the moment? Is it are you enjoying using them? Oh, thank you, Jean. Yeah, because I've got some colours here that would be quite awesome. Oh, what colours have I got? They got some. Oh, this one's quite a good one. What's it called? Beige. The beige one's pretty good. It'd probably be really nice in there. They're just really, really soft. They're lovely, but lovely pencils. You know, they are really nice. The only downside to them is that they are a lot of them are not highly light fast. So you know, a few of them are sort of like the same light fastness as black polys and stuff like that. But there's quite a lot of them that are sort of 2-star, and I know a lot of artists won't use you know, pencils that aren't you know, excellent light fastness. I tend to think, well, if I've got some pencils that are going to help me with smoothing and blending and all of that type of stuff, it doesn't really matter about the light fastness as such, because I'm not using them for the colour. I'm using them more for the, you know, what they're doing to the other pencils, as in smoothing and blending. So I'm not overly fussed about those, but they do have a couple that they've got some beautiful, beautiful colours. you know, and the very pale ones aren't very light fast at all, sadly. But they are very nice. You're okay, are you, Caroline? They're okay, right? Well, obviously you're not going to be saying very much because you're drawing, so that's the problem when we're on YouTube. We can't sort of chat or anything like that, but it means that more people can join me, which is good. Right, so let's just come down there. I'm going to bring the brown ochre back in again. Again, just bring some sort of like stronger pencil strokes into there to get the feeling that we've got this hair kind of growing around. A little bit of a tuft in there. And then this all starts to go a little bit paler actually. Okay, so I think I'm going to bring the buff titanium in. Can anyone tell me what number warm grey 4 is? Yes, it is. Hold on a second. It is 9201273. 273, Christine. I'm just going to bring my buff titanium in on here and just sort of smooth this out here a little bit. So I've just got a little bit extra pressure, and it's almost like a very gentle burnish, I guess. It's coming through here. Good. Right, so I'm going to move up on, we'll come back to this a little bit, but I'm going to move up onto over onto the tail area here. So I'm going to use the buff titanium, I think, to begin with. Let's just get rid of little stumpy tail. So I'm going to use the buff titanium. Got a little bit of hair coming out there. And again, I'm just going to sort of sketch. You might not be able to see what I'm doing here, but I'm just very roughly just plotting in the buff titanium in on the tail there. Oh, I'm so glad, Michelle. These draw-alongs are great. You know, I really do love them. And it's, you know, it's just a bit of fun. We don't have to get everything perfect. It's just, you know, getting everybody drawing and just having a nice time, really. I might start doing commissions like this instead of the really realistic ones. Crack out about 10 in a day. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Just to get a whole year's worth of stuff done in a day. It's like I'd be like a pastel artist then. Don't tell a pastel artist that I said that. Right, I'm just going to come up around here. Let's get rid of that graphite there. Right, and then what I'm going to use is now, if you haven't got one, it doesn't matter. I'm going to use the Persian orange. Oh, okay, Emma, that's not a problem. I'm going to use the Persian orange for this little bit here on the tail. But if you haven't got the Persian orange, don't worry, just use something like a burnt ochre or something like that. And the reason I'm using the Persian orange is because it's sort of like that sort of browny orangey colour, which is pretty good. And then I'm going to bring a little bit of the actually it's not as good as I thought it was going to be, but I'm going to crack on with it anyway. I'm going to bring a little bit of the brown ochre in as well. I know, darling, isn't it? You know, it's such a lovely thing, drawing with other people, even if you can't see them, you know, and you know that they're sort of out there and they're kind of, you know, joining in. It's lovely. I think that's one of the really nice things about live streams and stuff like that. And I know some people are a little bit worried about doing live streams, you know, but once you get cracking, it's great. Luckily with this one, we've only got patrons on here. Sometimes, you know, if I'm doing like a live stream just on YouTube to anybody, you can get some strange folk coming in. And luckily I've got the amazing Vicky, and she boots them out, so that's all good. Okay, so just coming in there, and then I want to add some more of the brown ochre just to give it that little bit of oranginess. So I've got the brown ochre now, just coming in over the top. I put a post out on my Instagram yesterday about the use of different hues and everything like that. And I think I've mentioned it a few times before actually, but it is really, really important when you're drawing sort of orangey coloured animals to make sure that you use all of the different hues. And the brown ochre was a pencil that I used to leave out just because I really didn't like the colour. I thought it was a really ugly colour, so I didn't want to use it. But actually it's so useful in animals like this and chestnut animals, because you get that you get that change in colour. It's not all just one colour. So it was kind of changed things a huge amount for me. It sort of really aided my development by bringing in all of these different colours. Okay, so I'm putting that in there. Vicky is very amazing. It's, oh, Michelle, that's good, but you weren't prepped and joined late, so watching this. Oh, well, that's fine. You're all right. You can do that. We don't mind that. Everyone should do thumbs up on this for Bonnie. Oh, hi Bonnie. Regarding the academy, have you emailed the survey yet? If so, yes, Simon. It has gone out, but don't worry too much about it. Basically, what it was so that I can get a really good idea of what people are enjoying, what people aren't enjoying, all of that type of stuff really, and also the if somebody doesn't want to be on my email list anymore, the chance for them to unsubscribe and just say, yeah, I don't want to hear from you, which is absolutely fine, because I only want people on my subscribe to me that want to hear from me, so right, I'm going to get the walnut brown, I think. Diane, yes, it's all going to be available, don't worry. And Victoria, I am using Lightfast paper. You found the hues. Hurrah, Penny. Oh, you found the hues. Hurrah, Penny. I get what you mean now. I'm thinking, what? Brilliant. Oh, that's good. I'm trying to do Perseus while watching and listening. Oh, I need to. I'm going to do a little bit more of him next week. I need to start doing some of the bridal work, I think. He's stuck in my drawer at the moment. I've got a couple of commissions to finish, and then I'm going to be back on him. And then I was thinking, I've got the most amazing eagle that I might do for. I wonder who's beeping the horn. I've got an eagle that I'm going to do for next month, I think. He's quite smart actually. So I thought I would do that, and do sort of like the eagle eye as a focus tutorial. I thought that'd be quite cool because he's got a really lovely clear eye, and there's loads of really lovely looking feathers actually. Right, so my tail's going a little bit pear-shaped because my pencils are all going a little bit, and that is to do, I'll tell you what that's to do with. It's to do with the flipping Lightfast. The Lightfast are a little bit strange when you start to combine with other pencils, and it's given me a bit of weirdness, so I'm not going to use that one again, but it's fine, we'll sort it. And then what I'm going to do is just bring a little bit more of the brown ochre in there. Brown ochre 10%. My daughter's arrived home now and beeping and shouting, and so the book, I'm not sure in Poland yet because it's in Europe, and I'm not sure whether they've actually done it in Europe yet, but I know that the British one, the one on Amazon UK, I've got a new link to put up because it's they've changed the cover because we're having a British cover. The spelling of colour is going to be in the English rather than American, which is great. Could you do an owl as well? Yes, Shirley, I can do an owl. I've already got an owl up. I've got a barn owl. I've got some other owls as well, but it's finding a photograph that actually is inspiring to draw from. You know, you don't want to just draw any old photo. You have to find one that's got a little bit of something about it. But I've got a barn owl, which was really, really, really nice. I like doing that. That was on a hot press paper, which was good. Right, I'm going to bring a little bit of my Tombow in, see if I can just... Where's my Tombow? Oh, where is it? Oh, it's gone there. No, Penny, I don't get the light fast either. I do like the light fast, but I just find them I find them a bit annoying at times. But anyway, they just don't seem to want to play very well with the other pencils. I'm just bringing a little bit of sort of textury bit into here now. Just wanting to sort of soften a little bit, I guess. I think that'd be fine. The owl that I've got, I don't know what sort of owl it is, but it's got a white neck and then a yellow beak and then a brown body. So anybody can recognise it from that description. That's what I was thinking of doing, because it's a really lovely photo, and it's another of Claire Watkins, the one that we've just done, the tiger, and it's actually a really lovely clear photo that we can get some really, really nice detail into the feathers. So I was thinking that would be quite nice actually. So I'm gonna need to do something with this little tail really, but I'm going to come down into the body area now. Could you do a badger? Yeah, Brenda, that's another thing as well. I've been looking for a nice badger photo, and so many of them are just a little bit too blurred to sort of do anything with, but definitely that's something that I want to do. I'm looking forward to drawing the children on the pony you showed us recently. Oh, you're doing something similar. Oh, I am going to be, yes, I've picked out an image for the first human tutorial, which I'm thinking maybe I'm going to do in June, which would be quite good actually. And I'm quite looking forward to doing something a little bit different and sort of pushing myself. It's going to be good. Right, I've got my brown ochre again, and oh, do I have a favourite drawing? Oh, no, I'm a little bit fickle really, because every piece that I do, it then turns out to be my favourite. I really like the tiger that I've just done. I really like, what else do I really like? I really like the little elephant that I did. I have to admit, I'm really liking the gorilla that I'm drawing in Art Club, and I didn't want to draw the gorilla. I was like, how do I skew the results in the poll? Because I don't want to draw a gorilla, but we're drawing a gorilla, and actually he's growing on me. Every time I open my top drawer in my plan chest, he's there looking at me. He's looking quite nice actually. All right, so I'm just going to come down here. I wish I'd chosen a pink now, because this is quite pinky down here. Oh, I have got a pink, haven't I? I've got like I've got the granite rose, haven't I? I can bring a bit of granite rose in actually. I found a great photo, a great Facebook page. Oh yes, they are fab. Yeah. Bonnie, would you know a paper close to light fast paper? I thought I bought some, but it was the Intense. Oh, a paper close to light fast paper. Well, the Fabriano in the small pad is quite similar in the traditional white. This is the granite rose I'm using now, but it doesn't have as much tooth. The light fast paper has got quite a lot of tooth. So you can get an awful lot of layering in it. Yeah, I want to say the Fabriano, but I really don't like that paper. It's you just have to use too hard a pressure, and it really hurts my wrists. I'm bringing the pink in with the brown ochre just to sort of get that nice sort of extra pinky feel. Oh yes, Penny, I'd like to do the I'd like to do a cow. Oh, I have got a cow. I've got a Highland cow coming. The most beautiful. Now then, where's my? Oh, it's there. The most beautiful Highland cow is a gorgeous reference. Really beautiful colours. This is walnut brown that I'm using here. And yes, I'm going to be doing a Highland cow very soon, actually. It's got like a bit of a background in it as well, and it's all sort of lovely, warm, autumny colours. It's a lovely photo, and I bought the rights to it, not the rights to it, but I bought sort of like the licenses so that my students can sell their original, but he won't allow us to sell prints. But it's a really, really lovely photo, So we're going to be doing that. And of course I've got some more lovely horsey ones to do as well. And I'd want to do like a sea turtle or something like that, or some sort of something in the sea. Not sure what that's going to be yet. Right, so Jack Russell, I love the Jack Russell. Shiny iridescent beetles, all blimey, orally. You might have to go to Jason Morgan for that with his pastels. Yeah, I'll have to have a look and see what I can find. I know. I think you can buy sheets of it, Janice. I think you can actually buy sheets now of it. Oh, I don't know how to go too far down here. I've got into the tummy there. Let's just shimmy him up a little bit more. There we go. I'm pretty certain that you can buy sheets from a coloured pencil magazine. You know, so you don't have to buy the whole thing. What time are we on? Blimey, got to crack on. We're coming up to an hour and a half here, and we've only done half a dog. Right, let's speed up. I'm just going to bring this brown ochre in here. I just want to get some of this nice sort of texture in the fur here. So I'm just sort of bringing it down, and then we can use the eraser to sort of help bring in some of that nice texture in there as well. But yeah, Janice, I think you can get the single sheets of the Derwent Lightfast. It is so expensive. I don't understand why they've made it so expensive, because it's and then of course with flipping Brexit and everything's even more expensive. So I'm just bringing in some of that texture into here. Again, using the polychromos because I want to be able to sort of lift some of the colours. Again, we've got little tonal changes in here where we can kind of see where the hair's sort of coming over and around his tummy area. And it's a little bit darker on where his little leg is here. It's coming down there. Again, just sweep that around there. And then I'm just going to get rid of these Holstein dairy cow. Which ones are the Holstein? Oh, they're the brown and white ones. The Friesians are the black and white ones, aren't they? I've got some lovely photos of Limousin cows. I've got loads, literally thousands of photos of Limousin. I've got a lovely one of a big bull sort of touching noses with a little calf, which is quite nice. Oh, that's it. That's interesting, Susan. Well, they want to be lowering it because it's a crazy price. I mean, it's something like 70. Is it £70 for a pad? It's just like it's bonkers. Okay, just coming around here again, just bringing a little bit of a swirl in there. And then this is a little bit darker in here as well. So we'll bring a darker colour in, but we can just bring that in with the sort of the tone there. And again in here, let's just darken up around here. Yeah, it's I don't know why they pancake age. Oh dear. Don't get me started about flipping blooming Line of Duty. What a disappointment that was. I'm watching, what am I watching at the minute? I'm watching Mayor of East Street on Sky Atlantic, and that's pretty good actually. I'm quite enjoying that. Right, I'm bringing the putty eraser in. Vinny, don't you start messing around now. You've been a good boy. And I'm just going to bring in some of these lighter areas. Sort of swooshing in these little highlighty bits. Again, this is, you know, with the polychromos it works so well because it just lifts them out, and you can just bring these nice little bits of highlight in. Through there. Okay, so we can get some nice texture in there, which is good. And then let's just come down onto the I'm going to use yeah, I think I'll use the I'll use the brown ochre again, I think. Just coming down and around. Just coming through. I'm going to bring a little bit of pink into here as well, just to give them a little bit of extra something. Now we've got sort of quite a nice light area here, and then we've got this big sort of swoosh coming here where it sort of dips down a little bit and then comes around the leg here. Round. Again, don't want to go too low. We'll come back and we'll do is pick up on the little legs in a minute. Yeah, the only thing, Linda, is that we have to wait a week before the next thing comes out, and I'm like, I want to watch it now. I'm so impatient. That's the problem, isn't it? You know, you've got to wait a week before the next episode comes out. Right, okay, so again, coming down into this area down here, it can get a little bit confusing because, you know, we're sort of coming from leg to shoulder through to chest. But just draw what you see, just kind of, you know, sketch in what's there, and the little sort of hair, how the hairs are sort of changing direction and stuff like that. And don't worry too much. The things to really get right-ish are where you've got these real dips and curves in the hair, because that's going to really help with the form of the animal that you're drawing. So we've got a kind of a curve going on there. We've got, that kind of goes up there a little bit, doesn't it? Let's bring that in there. And there. It's all a bit sort of single colour at the minute, but oops. Let's come down here a bit more, and then I'm going to bring a little bit more colour in. We've got this sort of fluffy bit coming through there, and this is all quite a little bit darker. And again, we've got this little fluffy bit there as well. And then I'm going to bring some of the burnt ochre in. Kind of bring that around. So I'm going to bring a little bit of the burnt ochre in. So this is the first time I've used this one. I'm just going to scribble a little bit just to get rid of a bit of the sharpness. I'm just going to bring a little bit of that into there. Just darken up in there. So this is a bit more sort of orangey. Let's get a little bit of that soft colour down through into there. Let's get that. I was going to use one of the Hanamola papers actually today. I can't remember what it's called now, but I ended up going with the light fast instead, just because I've got a little pad of it and it's perfect for this sort of size drawing. But you know, you can use anything. I want to get some the Stonehenge Legion and do some work on that, just because I think it's quite readily available. You know, just make sure that I'm not using papers all of the time that people can't get hold of, because the art supplies are so expensive. You know, I mean, I do have my favourites, the drafting film and the pastel mat are definitely my favourites. I'm working on pastel mat at the moment on a horse, and I just love it. But then doing this on the paper here, doing more of a sort of like a little sketch, I'm really enjoying this as well. You know, so it's quite nice to be able to work on different papers, but they are expensive. So I've got my brown ochre 10 here, and I'm going to bring in, I'm just going to actually take out those little bits of graphite in there. So I've got the brown ochre now, just bring that in. Brown ochre 10%. I need to try and get this nice sort of fluffy looking hair here, and it's all about just kind of, I want to say steady away, but we're not really going steady away, are we? We're going hell for leather. But it's just more about sort of getting the hairs going in the right places. This is my sort of speed. I could do this all day, I think. Just scribbling away, not having to worry about details or anything like that. It's when you've got to really slow down and concentrate, that's when I come unstuck. Oh, that's okay, Susan. Right, so just come down here. We need to get a little bit more darker into here. It's coming into that little leg area there. Let's bring some of that into there as well. I'm just going to bring some of that through and down. Okay, so I'm going to bring some of the warm-up brown in now, and just going to darken up. It's down here a little bit. Let's get some of that tonal value in there, and then we can also get a little bit of the feel for the fluffy hairs that are sort of sticking up as well. So again, you know, you can you don't have to put your lights in first. You can put your darks in first if you want to. You know, there's all sorts of different ways you can do things. You don't have to be sort of stuck in just the same thing, you know, doing the same thing every time. Okay, so we're just going to go up and under there as well. Just coming through there, then we darken. Just get some of these nice tones into here, and then we can just start to darken in here as well. So you can see I'm just doing these little sort of jiggly pencil lines, and it's just so that we can get an idea of the texture really, you know, and the depth of the fur that's going on in here. Bring a little bit down into there as well. through there. I'm seeing some amazing tigers coming through on social media. Honestly blown away with the tigers that I'm seeing. They're absolutely fantastic. And what I really love, you know, when people to sort of, you know, do one of my tutorials, is that everybody puts their own stamp on whatever it is that they're doing, and I love that. I just think they're looking fantastic. It, you know, I sort of wake up, I go onto Facebook, and there's, you know, a tiger jumps out at me, and it's just, oh, it's brilliant. I love seeing people's work. So good. So just coming down here a little bit. Just want to darken in here as well. So again, still quite nice and loose. Just bringing that hair around there. So this all needs to be darker still. You can see that, you know, even though we've brought that warm grey 4 in, it needs to be darker still, really. Oh yes, Shirley, she's fine, thank you. She was out again last night, but she was absolutely fine. We think her drink was spiked, so she was out in Harrogate with a friend, and went to the loo and then never came back, and she ended up sort of wandering off, and she collapsed, and a girl found her sort of face down in a flower bed. Got her to the hospital, and she doesn't remember any of it, which is terrifying. So she was out last night, which I wasn't very happy about, but she is 20, so I can't really do very much about it. But I was kind of getting in touch with her, you know, quite regularly, and I've got to find my phone as well on my phone, so I can, you know, see where she is and everything. But she'd left her phone, she'd left her bag, she'd left everything. So I ended up finding her after ringing 999, and they said, oh, we found her and she's in hospital. And it was just, oh, it took me about 3 days to recover. It was horrific. And she was just completely perky the next day, didn't remember any of it, and I was like, oh my goodness, Maisie. So she sent me a little Tinker sent me a text last night. So I dropped her off to go out with a friend, and then she sent me a text saying, can you pick me up at 3 o'clock from Harrogate Hospital, please? And I was like, oh my god. Do not joke about things like that. Anyway, so we can laugh about it now, so that's good, but it was absolutely horrific. But thank you for asking about it. Just, oh, it's just, you know, all of these things just go through your head, you know. And then, of course, when I found her and she was all perky and what have you, and the next day, and then I just wanted to kill her. I was like, oh my goodness, you put me through so much, and here you are laughing and joking and everything. Anyway, but yeah, she's fine. It was really scary. It was really scary, because you just think the worst, don't you? You know. But then I was saying to my mum, how on earth did you cope when I was that age, when we didn't have phones and we didn't have Find My Phone and all of that type of stuff? We didn't have any of it. You know, how on earth did they cope? I don't know. So, right, I've got my warm grey 4, and I'm just going to just darken up in here a little bit. Through there, into here, and just darken up there as touch as well. Now I'm just going to bring my putty eraser in, and just bring in a little bit of texture into here. Again, that eraser is great for, you know, just giving that little bit of, those little bits of highlight and helping with the texture, you know, especially if you've been using polychromos, because they just lift so nicely, and you can get a little bit more softness in there as well. Through there. Okay, and then I'm just going to bring some through into that leg there as well. We've got this nice sort of curve where we've got the highlights coming through in there, which work quite nicely. Again, it's about, you know, about being a little bit brave with your eraser and just sort of sketching with that as well. You know, I'm not being particularly careful here at all. So that by bringing that eraser in there, that's made the chest area, you know, quite nice there. I'll just bring that in over the shoulder there, and then I think we'll start to work on the legs. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring the camera down a little bit, I think. Yeah, I'm live streaming, Franks. Okay, right, so I can now start on the no, Shirley, one doesn't expect that sort of thing in Harrogate because it's far too well to do in Harrogate. You know, it's, well, you don't expect it anywhere, do you really? It's horrible. So anyway, but yes, luckily she's okay. Right, so I'm just going to come down. We're going to, what time are we on? Right, so we're coming up to 2 hours. So I'm thinking the next half an hour we're going to have done, which isn't bad going for sort of like a nice little drawing. I'm just going to bring this brown ochre. I think I should have just done the whole thing with brown ochre. Bring this brown ochre. I'm just going to put that up there. Down onto this little paw here. Now these little paws are all a little bit when do we get time to breathe? No, Jude, there's no breathing, sorry. No breathing allowed when we're doing this. You've just got to take a big deep breath at the beginning, and then you can breathe again at the end. That's it. You should try talking as well when you're drawing. Oh dear. But you know me, I love to blooming chat away and gabble on. So actually this has worked quite nicely here. Oh, I need to move him over a little bit because there we go, better. I think we're in the way of the picture there, so I've just moved him over a little bit. So all I'm doing here is it's a little bit blurred, but I'm just kind of bringing that sort of the hair direction through here, and then it's coming down there. And then what I'm going to do is bring just a little bit of the dark sepia in there. Just take those graphite lines out, and just need to make sure he doesn't end up with a cloven foot like a cow. Okay. Oh no, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use the warm grey 4 actually. And I'm just going to sort of bring a little bit into the bottom here. We've got sort of like a bit where the toes are here. And a little bit there, so it's all a bit blurred and a bit sort of not really anything. And then I just want to bring a little tiny bit of shadow in there. Okay, and then I'm going to come back in again with the dark sepia and just bit of, I don't know, artistic license or whatever it is, bit of jiggery pokery, and then hey presto, we have a little paw. Right, so I'm going to use a little bit of the burnt ochre, just through into there. Just darken that up a little bit. You can see, we don't need a massive amount of structure really, just to give us a little bit of form. I'm now going to use the granite rose. I'm just going to pull that down here just for a little bit of pinkiness, and I'm also going to pull it down onto the edge there as well. A little bit messy down there. Now what we need now is just that little bit of darkness in there as well. My son's soccer match. Oh, I hope he's winning. Adriana, has he scored a goal yet? I was at watching my son. Well, I wasn't watching him playing football, but I was there waiting for him. And I ate a whole blooming packet of Chewits Extreme Sours. Goodness knows why. And then I felt really poorly afterwards. And they weren't. I was a bit disappointed because they weren't actually extreme sours at all. They were just a little bit sour. So I was a tad disappointed. But right, so we've got a little bit of dark coming down into there. And then I just want a bit more dark coming through into here as well. And then I'm just going to bring that putty eraser just in on the edge there. So we have a little bit of a lost edge just coming down there. Just sweep that through there as well. And then I'm just going to bring a little bit more sort of a bit of depth in there as well. Right, so it looks like he's got bulldog legs, doesn't he? This is the burnt ochre. I just need to get a little bit more of a sort of like a curve, you know, where it's coming, the legs coming from the tummy area. Just coming round into there. Okay, just a little bit darker still. I'm just using a little bit heavier pressure with the burnt ochre in over the top of that walnut brown. Okay, right, so let's just take that out a little bit. Right, and then we're just going to come round here, just bring a little bit more sort of through into there. Legs looking a little bit sort of stiff and stilted really, but I'm just going to bring just a touch, just bring him down a little bit. That's a little bit better there. Yeah, that's a little bit better. It's kind of getting rid of some of those lines. Right, so now let's just come into, oops, I can't see a thing, this front leg here. And, okay, so we've got a lot of, oh, come on, picture. So we've got a lot of nice texture coming through into here. Brown ochre again, let's just bring through here. And again, just sort of sweeping this hair down and around. And then this side is sort of coming the other way, so it's almost, you know, it kind of sweeps over that bone, and then we can just come down. And it just goes to show that, you know, just with pencil lines you can create realism. You know, you don't always have to have you know, all of the details. Hang on, just but what we do need to concentrate are those sort of light and dark areas. So just coming down there, sweeping that hair around, a little bit of an extra bit there, and then when it comes to the sort of the foot here, got my son texting me going, when are you done? When can you take me through to town? cheeky little gits they are. But I mean, taxi driver. I was a taxi driver last night. I took my daughter to Harrogate for 6:30. I took my son to Harrogate for 8, then stayed, brought him home again, and then went back at 11:30 to get my daughter. So it was just a taxi service. I think that's what parents are quite a lot of the time, though, isn't it? A taxi service. Right, so again, we just need to get this little bit of a light bit up here. Oh gosh, so Susan's having Chinese, and then you were expecting to have fish cakes and cauliflower cheese. Oh, well, both sound quite nice. I haven't had a Chinese in ages. I'll tell you what my favourite is at the moment is yo sushi. Oh, not the fishy stuff, which is a bit silly because you would expect me to have fishy stuff from yo sushi, but their chicken and their beef. Oh gosh, it's absolutely amazing. I love it. Right, let's bring a little bit of the pink down through into here, and I'm going to bring a little bit of the pink into there as well. This is the granite rose, and sort of shimmying out onto the edge there. And then we're going to bring a little bit down onto that side down here. Which is all good. That's all fine. All right, and then what do we need to do? We need to bring a little bit of dark into here. So just bring a little bit of that shadow down into here, so we can kind of see where that leg and the shoulder and everything is. I think my children have stopped tiptoeing around now, and there's lots of slamming of doors. Used to say I was walking wallet when my yeah, exactly. I think my daughter has my she has my Amazon account on her phone. I just keep getting deliveries every day. I'm like, what's this? Oh, yeah, I got it from Amazon. I've sent you the money, Mum. I don't think she has. Alright, so just coming down. Let's just bring a little bit of this walnut brown in down here as well, just to give them, a little bit of sort of structure in that leg there. Just want to just change the angle of that a little bit. That's a bit better. That's what's so nice about the the polychromos being able to lift off, because you can get some really, really nice effects, and then if you do go a little bit wrong, it's quite easy just to sort of lift it out. Right, so just coming down into here. We've got a little bit of dark there. So these paws are quite tricky to do, I have to say, because you've got to get that sort of feeling of depth and stuff coming out towards you. I should do another paw actually, as a focus, because you've got to sort of get the feeling that you've got something poking out and something knocked back, and all it is tones and pencil direction, and that's basically all it is. But I think we end up sort of overcomplicating things, and getting a bit worried about it, whereas actually it's if we just kind of draw what's there in front of us. David, that's a great excuse. Your batteries are about to die. Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me. And off to take your niece birthday present. Oh, thanks, Deborah. Nice to have had it. I know this has gone on for ages, but I will be finished, and I will be. I'll share it up online as well, so you can watch it back if you want to. So we'll be finished pretty soon, actually. Right, I'm going to bring a little bit more of that orange in. We've got the burnt ochre into here. It's coming through. Around there. And a little bit more of that orange into there as well. And coming through. And then I'm just going to bring a little bit of that warm grey 4 into there and just bring just a touch of that shadow in. And then I'm going to use the dark sepia. You alright, Maze?
Hi.
I'm live streaming, darling.
Oh, sorry.
That's alright. I'm going to get myself a red light, I think, to stick outside the door that says recording. Just in case anybody thought it was going to be something else. Oh dear. Right, so that's the little bit of shadowy bit there. Let's bring a little bit more of that warm grey 4 in, and I'm just going to nip out just little bits here to make them just a touch softer. Yeah, that's cool. Peggy is my cat. So we've had her for 11 years, 12 years. She doesn't feature very often. She kind of does her own thing, but she's a ragdoll cat, and she's lovely. She's a really, really sweet girl. But she's feeling a little bit bemused at the minute because of what's going on with all of the building work and everything like that. And she hasn't really got anywhere to go. So poor girl is sort of shoved upstairs. So she's got beds to lie on and everything, but she just she wants to go in the kitchen, and we've had sort of wet concrete and all sorts in there, so she's not been allowed in there, but she keeps getting in. Just bring a little bit more of that brown ochre into there. I just want to darken up that area there as well. Okay, and then focus on paws. Yes, I think so, Jean. I think that would be good, actually. All right, and then I'm just going to shimmy that back there a little bit. And then we're just going to work on this last little paw here and this little leg, just to take some of this graphite out. So I'm going to come back in again with the brown ochre, and again we're just going to sort of concentrate on the texture of the fur. It kind of comes out and it sort of comes back around on itself. We're just going to tuft these out a little bit. Tutorial on Peggy. I've got some. I've just taken a few really nice photographs of her, actually, because she has lovely blue eyes and lovely soft fur and everything. So I have got some nice photos. So we could do something. I just find it really difficult drawing my own animals. Vinny was okay. Vinny was all right. I did okay with Vinny, but Peggy was I've started Peggy before years ago, and never really got very far on into it. But I think she would do it. She would be a good drawing, I think. She's very pretty. She looks like a very pretty version of Grumpy Cat. Okay, so we're just coming round here. Again, we've got these sort of little paws that are sticking out, so we just need to get the little flicky bits of the hair so that we can get an idea. Oh, I've done it again. Let's leave. My iPad, when I enlarge things, it sort of makes half the picture disappear. Right, so just coming back down here a little bit. Again, just these sort of little wavy bits here where it's coming over where the little claws are. Okay, right, so let's bring a little bit of the putty eraser in, and we can just start to bring in a little bit of that soft fur into there. Pretend she's not mine. Yeah, I could do that. Poor old Peggy. The dogs keep pouncing on her. They're not kind to her. Right. Okay, so let's bring that warm grey 4 in again, and just bring a little bit of these little claws in. A bit of dark there. More of a shadow, sort of join that up a little bit. And then let's bring that dark sepia in. Okay, and then I'm going to bring a little bit of the burnt ochre in. Just get a little bit of that orange into there as well. Get these legs a bit more. And then hopefully I'll see lots of little Cairn Terriers popping up all over social media, which would be really cool. And yours will all be really awesome because you'll have kept on working on them when I finish mine. You'll all just go in and do it really slowly, and I'll have like a sketch, and yours will all be really beautiful and realistic. But I won't care. I won't mind. Right, okay, so brown, walnut brown again, and let's just bring some of that through into here to get some of the shadow area into here as well. Just reduce that down a bit. It's going down there. And then we'll get a little bit of the dark sepia just into here. Okay, I'll just use the Tombow there, just get rid of that graphite line. That's better. Oh, not the brown, walnut brown, not the dark sepia. Bonnie, have you tested the black graphics yet? No, I haven't. But I know that Ida is using it on the gorilla and it's looking amazing. So I think I might do another white on black using the graphics. The only problem is it's really difficult to get hold of. That's the problem, you know. So it's sort of creating something on a paper that then people are going to struggle to be able to get hold of, which you know, I think probably do it as a demo, and then if people want to have a try of it, then that's great. But it's the sourcing it that is the problem. Mine came from America, and graphics actually sent me a load of stuff. There's a white one as well, which I now use as a surface behind my graphics drafting film, because it's really smooth and it's completely opaque. So so it's brilliant. So it just sits behind my drafting film, which is great. Right, so let's just come into here and just darken up in here a little bit. This is the burnt ochre that I'm using here. Just darken up in here as well. I'm going to use my brown ochre 10%. I'm just going to come into here and I'm going to almost like burnishing, but just bring some of this in over the top of the colours that I've got in there, just to sort of smooth them out a little bit. Oh, Vinny. Oh, did you? Oh, well, that's okay then, Penny. They were just saying that I'd heard that nobody could get it anywhere, so maybe it's all right now. Maybe it is available. Just coming down there as well, just giving that a little bit extra oomph to there, just to sort of smooth it out a little bit, really. I think Vinny says he's had. Oh, Vinny says he's had enough. Right, okay. So I just need to darken up very slightly into some areas. I've noticed it really picks up the pink for instance. Yes, I imagine it would, Janice, because it's going to be sort of, you know, sort of, I guess quite oily. Well, your fingers are going to be quite oily, so yes, I think we need to be really, really careful. I'm not sure how it's going to cope with wet dog noses on it, because that's what tends to happen with my paper. I've taken to putting, when I finished working on a night, I used to just leave it on my drawing board. Now I take it off every night and put it away, because the dogs have a habit of, if I leave them in the house, they have a habit of jumping on my drawing board. They're really badly behaved dogs. need to get them trained. Okay, I don't know, you can see that. That's fine. I just need to darken this bit up down here as well. What time are we on? Oh, look at that. Right, I'm going to bring him down here, and what I'm going to do is just completely, zoom it out. Okay, so hopefully you can now see all of him. And we can just go in and just darken up little bits. Where we need to darken. In there. A little bit of the tail seems to be standing out like a sore thumb, doesn't it? It's like the focus of the piece. You look at it and the first thing you look at is the tail. I think I'm going to have to lighten that up quite a bit, actually. Just going to come into here and lighten that up. Just going to use my Tombow a little bit in there. He's turned out quite nicely, hasn't he? He looks okay. I quite like him. I'm just going to bring a little bit more of the burnt ochre in. I mean, you know, he's a sketchy piece. He's, you know, not overly realistic, but I think as a little sort of 2.5 hour drawing, I think he's quite nice. I bought well, I've got a Tony O'Connor sketch that I bought of the same foxes that we drew in art club. I bought that, which I just really love. It's a graphite sketch. It's beautiful. Right, I just want to come up into the head here and just darken his head a little bit and use the brown ochre. And I've bought 2 sketches from, oh, I was thinking, where are they? I was panicking then, but I put them in the drawer. From Julie, I can't remember her surname now. She's an oil painter, but she's done a couple of sketches, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. There's a fox and a hare, so I bought those, and they're going to go in my kitchen with the Tony O'Connor sketch. So I do really like a sketch, I have to say. You know, something that's quite nice and loose. Julie Brunn, that's it. She's the most fantastic artist. Right, let's bring just a little bit more into there. Ah, that's nice, Lisa. Oh, will you be able to yeah, you'll be able to use those colours? And I'm surprised I've used so much of the brown ochre, to be honest. Just bring a little bit more into there. Could do with him being a little bit orangier, really. I've got a really good it's the Holbein one that I've got. No, I haven't got it, but it's I'd like a nice, quite a pale orangey colour that would have been good in there. Just darken this up a little bit in here. Bring a little bit of something into there. Okay, and then just bring a little bit of brown into there. And then I think he's pretty much finished. Bonnie says so much. Oh, thanks, Anne. A terror. Yeah, he's a terror. Oh dear. For the stream ends, thank you, Bonnie. Great chat. Oh, thanks so much, Simon. That's really kind of you. Yes, hopefully my kitchen will be finished soon. And then what I'll be able to do is actually do zooms from my kitchen, which would be great because I've got a really lovely view out the back. Excellent. Right, I'm going to put a little bit more black in there, and then I think we'll call it a day. And I'll go get my fish and chips. She said in a Yorkshire accent that wasn't really Yorkshire. Let's get a little bit more black into there. A little black into there as well. It's a bit harder pressure. Oh, thanks, Lisa. That's a pleasure. No, I really do enjoy these live sessions, and that's one of the things that I want to start doing when I start the academy. I'm wanting to do much more of the live stuff, but I want to bring a lot of the confidence and self-belief and all of that type of stuff into live streams as well. You know, sort of like little drop-in sessions and stuff like that, which I think could be really, really useful. Right, so just darken up these little bits here. Now, does he have any whiskers? No, I think we've put them all in, haven't we? That's all right. I was thinking, oh, blimey, I've got to put whiskers in, but I haven't. That's fine. Phew. Just soften that a little bit. And then I think we're pretty much done. I think we're pretty much done. Oh, I've really enjoyed doing him. It's been really nice. It could do with being a bit darker, and I could do with you know, sort of faffing around and whatever, but I'm not going to do. He's a nice little sketch. It's taken me, you know, 2.5 hours. He's on a piece that's 7 by 10 inches, and yeah, that's been really great. So thank you all ever so much. We're going to do more of these, definitely, because I think these sort of like quite swift drawings are great, and they give you an awful lot of information as well. So I will I'll move my phone so you can't see that. But I'll catch up with you all later. And thank you all ever so much for joining me. So hope you're having a delicious tea tonight, like me, having fish and chips, and I'll speak to you all soon. So see you later. Bye.